morning, virtual book clubbers. How are you guys doing today? We continue to read from Simple Abundance, and we are on the January 12th entry, which is titled, There is No Scarcity. When money is plenty, this is a man's world. When money is scarce, it is a woman's world. When all else seems to have failed, the woman's instinct comes in. She gets the job. That is a reason why, in spite of all that happens, we continue to have a world. That was written in the Ladies' Home Journal in October of 1932. When you are worried about your health or the health of a loved one, your concentration focuses like a laser. Suddenly, there's a clarity about all of life because you realize what is important. Living is important. Every day is a gift. You ask for another chance to get it right. Most of the time, you're given it, and you're very grateful. But worries about money mock you. They steal the joy of living because they follow you around all day like a dark, menacing shadow. At night, they hover at the foot of your bed waiting to rob you of sleep. When you're worried about money, you dread the days and you agonize the nights. Without thinking, you throw away every precious 24 hours that come your way. You cease to live and merely exist. If you are worried about money today, take heart. You have the power to change your lifestyle and move from a feeling of lack and deprivation to a feeling of abundance and fulfillment. Money ebbs and flows in our lives. What should remain constant is our realization that abundance is our spiritual birthright. American gospel singer Mahalia Jackson once said that it is easy to be independent when you've got money, but to be independent when you haven't got a thing, that's the Lord's test. This is what I have learned and share with the seeker in you. The simpler we make our lives, the more abundant they become. There is no scarcity except in our souls. So we're back to talking about money again. We started that conversation yesterday, and it's not going to go away because unfortunately that is a big part of our culture. So again, getting really clear about your money story, getting really clear about why you spend the way you do. Do you even know how much debt you're in? Do you even know how your credit score looks? What is your score? How the score is calculated? What affects that score? These are all things that are really, if you don't get clear about them, when my husband and I decided we wanted to buy a house, that was one thing we had to really sit down and talk about. It's like, yes, you can ask the universe for a house all day long, but if you're not going to get clear about your money story, you're always going to be in lack and scarcity. And if you're not going to get clear about your finances as far as what you owe and how much you're spending and what you're spending on, you're just going to continue to have problems. So we really sat down and we looked at, okay, we pulled up our credit report and, paid off everything that we could pay off, and what we couldn't pay off at that time started to pay down. We looked at what our credit score was and what was affecting it and making sure that we were trying to work in the right direction. But we can't do that blindly. We have to come to the truth of what's happening in our world and how those things are affecting us. The other thing we have to become really mindful of is, are you an emotional spender? When you're sad or mad or, depressed, do you spend to bring yourself joy? Because if you do, I'm not saying that's a bad thing all the time, but if you're trying to fill that sadness with something external to yourself, then that sadness that happiness is only temporary. It's a drug. It's something that you continue to need a hit of to bring yourself joy. Look around your home. Is it filled with stuff that brings you joy or brought you joy in the moment? This is especially something that parents do with their children, right? I think everyone who's a parent comes to this place where they're like, I want my children to have better than I have. And so what that a lot of times equates to is stuff. I want to make sure they have more stuff. And I know plenty of parents who that is their love language, is stuff. But in reality, we're teaching our children, again, to look for happiness outside of themselves, to look for happiness in material things. When a lot of times all those children really want is one-on-one time with you. And then it creates this unfortunate situation where you have a lot of children who are very entitled, and they believe that they deserve these things for doing absolutely nothing in the world, that all of these things should just come to them. And what happens if your family hits a financial downturn? How will those children feel when you can't supply them stuff on a regular basis? That hit of dopamine every 5 minutes when they go to the store and they get whatever they want. We're just creating this environment again that brings joy from our external source. So these are just some of my thoughts. I don't know what you got out of that reading, but I'd love to hear your comments on today's reading and your thoughts. I'll see you again tomorrow.